Hey everybody, this is Tasha with Prep For It. Okay, so for our canning session that we're doing tomorrow, noon Central Time, here on the Prep For It channel, I'm going to give you a list of items that you're going to need and a list that you're going to need to write down. So the first thing you're going to need to write down is on a scrap piece of paper. You're going to write down on the top, and I'll share a picture with you so you can see what I'm talking about after I tell you about this. It's going to say green beans at the top. Underneath that, it's going to say hot pack. Then it's going to say vent 10 minutes start time, and then a line underneath or beside that so you can write down the start time. And then you're going to do right under that pints 20 minutes and process start time underneath that, and then a line. And then you're going to write underneath that 1 inch headspace. That way we can write down the vent when it started venting, so we can set a timer for that. So you're going to want to use your phone as a timer or have a separate timer. And then your process start time, that's what the line's for there. So we can write down when we started and we can set a timer from there, and so that we are very clear that we don't go under the amount of time needed for processing. Okay, so again, green beans under that hot pack, vent 10 minutes, start time and a line, pints 20 minutes, process start time and a line, and then 1 inch headspace. Okay, so that's going to be the first part, and we'll move on to the second part in just a second. Okay, in this next picture, you will see the canning supplies we're going to need to have on hand. We're going to need our canner already simmering. Make sure you fill it to the water line that your canner recommends. So look in your manual, look online for your particular model, how much water needs to go in there. It's going to be different because the circumference of each canner is a little bit different. So how much water you put in there to get it up to the level that you need it to be is going to be different. For my Presto canner, it has a bottom line etched on the inside of my canner, so I know how much water to put in there. So I'm going to have that water simmering. It's not going to be boiling, it's just going to be simmering. So it'll be, because when we do pack this, it's hot pack. So we don't want to put a hot jar into cool water, because it could cause a thermal shock and cause it to break. So that's part one. Okay, part two. We're going to need a little pan sitting on the back burner to simmer, to put our little hot lids in. Some people call them flats. Mouse toes will wring your neck if you do. But you want your hot lids in there whenever we get started canning, okay? And then you'll need a jar lifter to lift your jars. You'll need a large pot with your jars sterilizing in them. And then we will also use that water to pour over our green beans once we get them into the jars. So you need to have those jars washed, cleaned in that, and simmering as well. Okay? Then on the front of the burner, you'll see a blanch pot. The blanch pot is what we're going to blanch our green beans with together. So you just need however much water it's going to take to cover your green beans. You can blanch them in sections if you absolutely need to, but we're going to try to get a big enough pot where we can blanch them all at once so we can move on with the next process. So we'll have that on hand. In the picture, you will also see a glass jar, or I'm sorry, a glass bowl with a paper towel in the bottom. Mouse Toes does this because she learned the hard way. She was wearing flip-flops and one of her jars burst or spilled over or something, and that hot water spilled down onto her foot. So you want to make sure that you have, whenever you're lifting your jar out of your, when you're lifting your jar out with your jar lifter or your tongs, your silicone tongs, the sterilized jar out of that water, you want to sit it in your bowl. The paper towel will help keep it from slipping. And then you'll put your funnel in the top of it. And then we will use a slotted spoon to take our blanched beans out and dip pour those green beans into our jars. Okay, so you need that. You need a ladle to ladle that water out of that pot to put over your green beans, and then we'll use the little green debubbler that's on the counter that you see in that picture to debubble, and then we'll add more water if we need to get the headspace that's needed, and it says 1 inch headspace. Okay, if you want to use that little measuring tool, that's a good idea. That is in the picture, you'll see it sitting inside the jar. That's the measuring tool to see for 1 inch headspace. And you'll see the green beans, the bowl for the green beans over on the side, because we'll pull those out after we blanch them, put them in the bowl, and then we'll scoop them out. That way we're not overcooking them in the pot. Okay, I know that was a little bit confusing, but we will do this step by step together. Just make sure you have everything you need set up like what's shown in the picture. In addition, not pictured here, is the silicone tongs to lift your jars out of the hot water once you've sterilized them. A towel to rest your processed jars on, laid out on your counter, away from a drafty area, ready to sit your jars on. A small bowl of vinegar in a paper towel, or several little sections of paper towel, to wipe your rims and your the rim of your jar and the threads of your jar off. And you will need, if you're wanting to add canning salt, you'll need canning salt, and you'll need a 1/2 teaspoon measuring spoon to add your canning salt to it. Okay, I think that's it on what all you'll need, and then now I'm fixing to share the recipes with you. Okay, so the first picture you're going to see after this is the book that we're using the recipe out of. This is the updated version. So it's like updated in 2020. So there's an older book that looks just like it. That is not the one. The recipe may be the same. I don't know. It's just not on the same page. So the next picture that you'll see after that is the actual recipe. In that recipe, you'll see a section where it references section 3 on the previous page. So that is the third picture you will see. Section 3 on that third page, so that we have all of the recipe together. That's what we're going to walk through step by step together. That recipe shows you how much green beans you need to have cleaned and ready to go before we get started. Make sure your green beans are cleaned. You can take them and rinse them off real good in a colander, and then fill your clean sanitized sink with warm water, not hot, just warm or lukewarm, and put your green beans in there and kind of slosh them up and down in that water to remove any debris. If you're doing string beans, you're going to want to peel that string out, or otherwise it gets real tough in the canner. You're going to want to cut them in however long as sections you want. The recipe calls for 2-inch sections. You don't have to do 2-inch sections. As long as they'll fit in the jar, we're fine, okay? But whatever size green beans you want, if you like them smaller bits, if you like them larger, just make sure that they can fit into your jars. And we're all doing pints tomorrow, so our processing time will be, we'll all be doing everything close to the same timing. So just make sure your green beans are washed and ready. I'm actually going to clean them and everything tonight. Put them in the bowl, put them in the fridge. Not covered in water, but I'll cover it with plastic wrap to keep the moisture in. So they'll already be clean and ready to go for tomorrow. So I think that is it, guys. Just make sure you have all that ready. If you want to be on the live stream with us, make sure that you email me at cllmecrzy@gmail.com. So it's Call Me Crazy with no A's in it, @gmail.com. Let me know you want to be on the panel, what your YouTube name is, so I'll recognize you. And be prepared to get that link. You may get that link tonight. I may set all that up tonight, but it'll be in your email for the internal link, but don't click on it until about 10-15 minutes before we go live. So about 11:45 Central Time tomorrow. So we start at noon. So, all right. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to comment underneath this video and I will answer them. If you do not get a comment back within, say, 30 minutes, email me at that email that I just gave, because probably the tubes was added again and something didn't go through. The comment didn't go through or something. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. God bless. And we'll have fun doing this canning party tomorrow. Canning green beans for the first time. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.